I watched my brother Marcus destroy my son's future with a single phone call, and I knew exactly what I had to do. When Alex got rejected from MIT, Marcus smiled and said good luck finding another program. But I had heard him on the phone 2 weeks earlier, telling the admissions director that Alex was damaged goods, that our family name needed quality control, that an autistic kid would hurt his billion-dollar company's reputation. Marcus looked Alex in the eye and lied about trying to help him while secretly making sure he would fail. My adopted son had spent 3 years building the perfect application, writing code that could change the world, dreaming of proving himself worthy. Marcus crushed that dream to protect his precious image. He called my child defective. He treated Alex like a problem to solve instead of family to protect. Most people would confront him or try to forgive. I spent 18 months systematically destroying everything Marcus built. I used my data skills to plant digital poison in his company's systems, timed to explode during his biggest moment. When Marcus lost his fortune, his reputation, and his future, he still had no idea who really broke him. But was teaching my son these methods of revenge the right choice? Or did I create something far more dangerous than Marcus ever was? My world operates on precision. I document everything Alex does in color-coded spreadsheets. His coding progress, his emotional patterns, the exact timing of his breakthroughs. When you adopt a kid at 8 years old, when he comes from foster care with autism and trust issues, you learn to track the small victories. Alex just finished his MIT summer program application, 2,147 lines of elegant code that solve computational problems most adults can't even understand. I watched him work for 3 months, staying up until midnight, debugging algorithms that would impress university professors. Looking back, I should have protected that moment better. The doorbell rang at exactly 7 p.m. Marcus always arrives on schedule. Tesla Model S in the driveway. TechCrunch article pulled up on his phone about his AI company's latest breakthrough. My younger brother built his empire from nothing. $800 million and counting. "Where's my favorite genius?" Marcus called out, ruffling Alex's hair as he walked through the door. Alex actually smiled. My son doesn't smile often, but Marcus has always been different with him. Patient, understanding. He spent 20 minutes looking at Alex's code, asking genuine questions about the algorithms. "This is MIT-level work," Marcus said. "Actually, it's better than most stuff I see from MIT graduates." Alex's face lit up. I made a mental note about positive reinforcement patterns. "Let me write your recommendation letter," Marcus continued. "My connections there will guarantee acceptance. Little genius deserves the best." I calculated the statistical improvement in Alex's acceptance odds. Marcus graduated from MIT 15 years ago. He guest lectures there twice a year. He donates enough money to have a building named after him. With his endorsement, Alex's acceptance was mathematically certain. That would mean everything to us, I told him. I didn't know it then, but I was watching a performance. Marcus stayed for dinner. He listened to Alex explain his latest project, a machine learning model that could predict coding errors before they happened. My brother asked thoughtful questions. He praised Alex's innovation. He treated my son like the brilliant kid he is. After Alex went to bed, Marcus and I talked about his upcoming IPO. 6 months away from going public, the financial press called him the next tech visionary. His company's AI systems were revolutionizing data analysis across 12 industries. "I'm proud of both of you," he said as he left. "Alex is going to change the world." 2 weeks later, Marcus threw his engagement party. Tech executives, venture capitalists, MIT professors. The guest list read like a Forbes billionaire index. I wore my best suit and tried to network for Alex's future. The party was loud. Too many people, too much noise. I stepped onto the balcony for air and silence. Through the glass door, I could see Marcus on his phone in the corner of the living room. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but sound travels. "Listen, I need to be direct about my nephew," Marcus was saying. "The kid's got issues, autism, behavioral problems. I can't have him representing our family name at your program." I froze. My analytical mind started processing data points. Our family name is becoming a brand, Marcus continued. I'm about to IPO. Investors will Google Chen family. I can't have articles about our struggling autistic nephew affecting valuations. The person on the other end must have asked a question. Some bloodlines need quality control, Marcus said. Alex is damaged goods, keep him out. I should have felt anger, instead I felt clarity. Looking back, I realized that moment changed everything. Marcus ended the call and walked back toward the party. I intercepted him in the hallway, empty, quiet, perfect for a private conversation. I heard your phone call, I said. Marcus didn't deny it, didn't apologize, didn't even look embarrassed. David, I'm 6 months from $1 billion IPO. Our family name is becoming a tech industry brand. Alex is a liability I can't afford. He's your nephew. He's a problem that needs managing. When investors research our family, I need them. Finding success stories, not articles about autistic kids struggling at elite institutions. Marcus spoke like he was explaining basic mathematics. Calm, logical, completely certain of his reasoning. This isn't personal, he added. It's strategic. Business optimization. I studied my brother's face, no guilt, no hesitation. He had calculated Alex's worth and found him expendable. I understand your position completely, I told him. And I did. Marcus had revealed his core programming. Alex wasn't family to him. Alex was a bug in the Chen family code that needed debugging. I walked back to the party, smiled at the right people, made small talk about market conditions and quarterly projections. But my mind was already running different calculations. I didn't know it then, but Marcus had just made the worst strategic error of his life. 3 days later, the MIT rejection letter arrived. Standard language about competitive applicant pools and limited spots. Alex read it twice, then folded it carefully and put it in his desk drawer. Sometimes institutions make errors in judgment, I told him. Your worth isn't determined by their validation. Alex nodded, but I saw something dim in his eyes. Hope, maybe, or trust in the world's fairness. Uncle Marcus said he was going to help, Alex said quietly. I know. Did he actually try? I could have lied, could have protected Marcus's image, could have blamed MIT's admissions process. Instead, I told Alex the truth, not about the phone call, but about the rejection. Sometimes people don't follow through on their promises. Looking back, I should have told him everything right then. Alex went to his room. I heard typing, steady, rhythmic keystrokes that continued until well past midnight. My son was coding something new, something I hadn't seen before. I sat in my study and opened a fresh spreadsheet. New project, new variables to track, new outcomes to calculate. Marcus thought he was managing a liability. He had no idea he was creating an enemy. The investigation began the next Monday. I leveraged my data analysis background to study Marcus's company like a research project. Infrastructure maps, employee directories, security protocols, digital footprints, every detail documented in encrypted files on my personal system. I wasn't angry anymore. Anger clouds judgment. This was pure calculation. Marcus's company occupied 3 floors of a downtown tech complex, 400 employees, annual revenue approaching $200 million. The AI systems they built processed financial data for banks, insurance companies, healthcare networks, critical infrastructure that couldn't afford failures. Looking back, I realized I was building a blueprint for destruction. I started attending tech meetups where Marcus's employees gathered, Thursday night networking events at downtown bars, industry conferences, startup pitch competitions. I presented myself as the proud brother who wanted to understand his siblings' success. Marcus never talks shop at home, I'd say with a smile. What's it like working on such cutting-edge AI systems? Junior developers loved explaining their work. Senior engineers enjoyed showing off their expertise. I asked innocent questions about development processes, system architectures, security measures. They told me everything. I didn't know it then, but I was conducting the most thorough penetration test in corporate history. Within 2 months, I had detailed maps of their entire digital infrastructure, server locations, network topologies, administrative access patterns, software update schedules. The company's technological nervous system laid bare. Marcus continued his performance at family gatherings. The supportive uncle who asked about Alex's projects, who praised his coding improvements, who maintained perfect emotional theater. "How's our MIT candidate doing?" he'd ask, knowing Alex had been rejected. I watched Alex's face during these interactions. My son still believed Marcus had tried to help him, still trusted that his uncle cared about his future. I made another mental note about the depth of Marcus's deception. At a company holiday party in December, I planted my first digital seeds. USB drives scattered in the parking lot, innocent-looking thumb drives that curious employees would inevitably plug into their work computers. Basic human psychology made them irresistible. 3 employees took the bait within a week. The malware was sophisticated but undetectable. It didn't steal data or crash systems. It just gave me access. Looking back, I should have felt guilty about exploiting good people's curiosity. I didn't. By February, I had administrative access to Marcus's core systems, but I didn't steal information or destroy files. Instead, I introduced subtle inconsistencies, database entries with micro-corruptions, algorithm parameters shifted by fractions of a percent, processing delays measured in milliseconds. Nothing immediately detectable. Everything attributable to normal system evolution and growing pains. The beauty was in the accumulation. Each tiny error would compound over time, create cascading failures, generate system instabilities that would manifest months later under stress conditions. I was building a digital time bomb with an 18-month fuse. Meanwhile, Alex was developing his own projects, advanced encryption algorithms, network security tools, penetration testing frameworks that impressed even me. "I've been studying cybersecurity," he explained one evening, showing me code that rivaled professional-grade hacking tools. "I want to protect our family from people who might hurt us." I realized my son was building capabilities I hadn't taught him. Learning skills from online courses, hacker forums, underground programming communities. Alex was becoming something I hadn't expected. Looking back, I should have paid more attention to what he was really building. During family dinners, I started noticing other things. Subtle comments from relatives about Alex's condition, jokes about his social awkwardness, discussions about whether he'd ever have a normal life. Marcus wasn't the only family member who saw Alex as defective. But Marcus was the only one with the power to actually damage him. In April, I discovered Alex had been documenting these interactions. Spreadsheets tracking cruel comments, audio recordings of family conversations, video files of social exclusions. My son was building his own database of evidence. "I know what people think of me," Alex told me quietly. "I've always known, but I thought Uncle Marcus was different." The pain in his voice confirmed what I already understood. Marcus's betrayal hadn't just cost Alex a summer program, it had shattered his faith in family loyalty. I updated my calculations. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was about justice. By summer, my sabotage had reached critical sophistication. Marcus's AI systems were developing phantom errors, processing bottlenecks that appeared without explanation, security vulnerabilities that opened and closed like digital trap doors. The technical team blamed growing pains, normal startup scaling challenges. They hired more engineers, upgraded servers, implemented additional monitoring systems. Nothing helped because they were fighting symptoms, not causes. I didn't know it then, but Alex was conducting his own operations. In August, Marcus announced his IPO date, February 14th, Valentine's Day, exactly 1 year after Alex's MIT rejection letter. The timing was too perfect to be coincidental. The universe was providing optimal conditions for my final calculation. I escalated my infiltration, database corruptions designed to manifest during high-stress investor demonstrations, algorithm modifications that would fail catastrophically under scrutiny. system vulnerabilities programmed to activate simultaneously during the IPO roadshow. Marcus's confidence remained absolute. His company was valued at $800 million. Tech journalists called him a visionary. Investors lined up to buy shares. He still saw me as the overlooked brother, the mid-tier analyst who posed no threat to his empire. Looking back, I realized that misperception would be his final strategic error. Alex spent increasing hours in his room, typing code I wasn't allowed to see. When I asked about his projects, he'd smile and say they were surprises. I should have been more curious about those surprises. 18 months after Marcus's confession, my sabotage had evolved into something beautiful. Complex database corruptions that would manifest only under extreme load conditions, AI algorithms with hidden instabilities that grew stronger over time, security protocols with invisible backdoors that opened at predetermined triggers. I controlled Marcus's entire digital empire, and he had no idea. The IPO announcement came in October, February 14, 2024, Valentine's Day. Exactly 1 year after Alex's MIT rejection letter arrived in our mailbox. Marcus couldn't have chosen better timing if I had programmed it myself. Looking back, I think the universe has a sense of irony. I accelerated my operations immediately. Every vulnerability I had planted over 18 months needed to activate during those critical investor presentation days. Database failures during live demonstrations, processing errors during stress tests, system crashes during due diligence reviews. The technical coordination required was staggering. Hundreds of digital time bombs synchronized to detonate in perfect sequence. Marcus's company began experiencing what they called minor glitches. Database queries running slower than expected. AI recommendations showing slight accuracy drops. Security systems generating false positive alerts. Nothing catastrophic. Just enough irregularities to concern the technical team. I watched Marcus dismiss these problems during family dinner conversations. Growing pains, he called them. Normal pre-IPO stress on aging systems. His confidence remained absolute. Every tech company faces scaling challenges, he told our father. We're hiring the best engineers money can buy to optimize everything. I didn't know it then, but Alex was listening to every word. Meanwhile, my son was developing skills that surprised even me. Advanced penetration testing tools, network exploitation frameworks, digital forensics capabilities that rivaled professional cybersecurity experts. Where did you learn to code like this? I asked, reviewing programs he'd written that exceeded university-level complexity. Online courses, hacker forums, programming communities where people share real techniques, Alex explained. I want to understand how systems work, so I can protect the people I care about. His dedication was remarkable. 12 hours a day writing code, studying vulnerabilities, practicing attacks against sandbox environments. My son was becoming a digital warrior. Looking back, I should have realized he wasn't just learning defense. In November, Alex showed me something that made my blood freeze. A complete network map of Marcus's company infrastructure, server locations, administrative passwords, executive email access, financial database structures. How did you get this? I asked. I've been working on it for 8 months, Alex said calmly. Ever since I realized Uncle Marcus lied about helping me with MIT. Alex had been conducting his own infiltration operation. Parallel to mine, but deeper. More sophisticated. More personally motivated. I know what he said about me, Alex continued. I recorded his phone call at the engagement party. I heard him call me damaged goods. My careful plan suddenly felt inadequate. Alex wasn't just my son anymore. He was my partner in this calculated destruction. I didn't know it then, but he was already 10 steps ahead of me. December brought Marcus's first real panic. During a routine investor meeting, their AI system approved obviously fraudulent loan applications while rejecting customers with perfect credit scores. The demonstration failed spectacularly in front of potential buyers. Technical difficulties, Marcus explained afterward. We're implementing additional quality controls. But I saw the fear in his eyes. His billion-dollar valuation depended on system reliability. Any hint of instability would scare away investors. Alex and I coordinated our attacks with military precision. I handled the broad infrastructure sabotage. He focused on surgical strikes against specific systems during critical moments. The combination was devastating. Every time Marcus's team fixed one problem, two more appeared. System failures cascaded through their network like digital dominoes. Looking back, I realized we had become something dangerous together. By January, tech blogs were asking questions. Chen Industries AI, showing performance inconsistencies. Investors expressed concerns about system reliability. IPO timeline under review due to technical issues. Marcus hired emergency consultants, cybersecurity firms, system optimization experts, teams of engineers working around the clock to identify and fix the mysterious problems plaguing their infrastructure. They found nothing. Because they were looking for external attacks, not internal sabotage. It's like fighting ghosts, one of their lead engineers told a reporter. Every time we solve one issue, another appears somewhere else. Alex read that quote and smiled. A cold, calculating expression I had never seen on his face before. They're not fighting ghosts, he said quietly. They're fighting us. The IPO roadshow was scheduled to begin February 10th. 4 days of investor presentations across 3 cities. Marcus would demonstrate their AI capabilities to hundreds of potential buyers. Everything I had built over 18 months would activate during those 4 days. I didn't know it then, but Alex had programmed additional surprises that would make my sabotage look gentle. Marcus spent January in crisis management mode, emergency board meetings, consultant briefings, technical reviews with his engineering teams. His confidence was cracking under the pressure of unexplained system failures. Maybe we should delay the IPO, his CFO suggested during a family dinner conversation. Absolutely not, Marcus replied. We've come too far to back down now. These are just growing pains. Every successful tech company faces similar challenges. Alex looked at me across the dinner table. A moment of perfect understanding passed between us. Marcus had no idea that his greatest threats were sitting right there, eating his catered food and listening to his desperate reassurances. Looking back, I think that dinner was the moment I realized we had already won. The only question remaining was how completely we would destroy him. February 10th arrived with perfect winter clarity. Marcus's IPO roadshow began in New York City. 4 days of investor presentations that would determine his company's $800 million valuation. I watched the opening ceremony from my office computer. Live stream of Marcus addressing potential buyers, explaining how his AI systems would revolutionize data processing across multiple industries. He looked confident, polished, completely unaware that his digital empire was about to collapse in real time. Looking back, I should have felt some sympathy for what was coming. I didn't. The first demonstration began at 10 a.m. Eastern. Marcus's team showcased their flagship AI system processing financial data for a major bank. Real-time analysis of loan applications, risk assessments, fraud detection algorithms. Everything worked perfectly for exactly 7 minutes. Then, my 18 months of sabotage reached critical mass. The AI started approving loan applications for people with no credit history while rejecting customers with perfect scores. Risk assessments flagged low-danger transactions as high threat while clearing obviously fraudulent requests. The investors watched in stunned silence as the system made decisions that contradicted basic logic. Technical difficulties, Marcus announced, his voice steady but his hands trembling. We're experiencing some minor calibration issues. But this wasn't minor. This was catastrophic system failure during the most important presentation of his life. I didn't know it then, but Alex was just getting started. Within 30 minutes, tech blogs picked up the story. Chen Industries AI fails. During live investor demo. Billion-dollar IPO roadshow hits technical snags. System errors raise questions about AI reliability. Social media exploded with videos of the failed demonstration. Marcus's confident presentation followed by complete system meltdown. The contrast was devastating. Marcus's team spent the entire afternoon troubleshooting. emergency conference calls with engineers, desperate attempts to identify and fix the mysterious errors. They found nothing because the problems were hard-coded into their system's foundation. Looking back, I realized that afternoon was when Marcus's empire truly began to crumble. Day 2 brought worse failures. During a presentation to insurance industry executives, the AI recommended coverage for hurricane damage in desert states, while denying flood insurance for coastal properties. Healthcare algorithms prescribed medications for conditions patients didn't have while missing obvious diagnostic patterns. Every demonstration exposed deeper instabilities in systems that had worked flawlessly for years. "We're implementing additional quality controls," Marcus told increasingly skeptical investors. "These anomalies are temporary." But the damage was spreading faster than his explanations. Major financial publications ran investigative pieces questioning the company's technical competence. Regulatory bodies announced formal reviews of their AI systems. Alex monitored everything from his bedroom computer. Multiple screens displaying news feeds, stock futures, social media sentiment analysis. He tracked Marcus's destruction with scientific precision. His pre-market valuation dropped to $600 million, Alex reported during dinner, down from $800 million yesterday. I realized my son was enjoying this more than I was. I didn't know it then, but Alex had programmed additional surprises for day 3. Wednesday's presentations were supposed to showcase their most advanced capabilities. AI systems that could predict market trends, optimize supply chains, detect cybersecurity threats before they materialized. Instead, the systems generated recommendations that were not just wrong, but dangerous. Investment strategies that would bankrupt portfolios. Supply chain optimizations that would create massive shortages. Security protocols that left networks completely vulnerable. Marcus's credibility evaporated in real time. Investors started leaving presentations halfway through. Conference calls turned into damage control sessions. "Maybe we should postpone the IPO," his CFO suggested during a leaked phone conversation. "Give our technical teams time to resolve these issues." "Absolutely not," Marcus replied, desperation creeping into his voice. "We push forward. These problems will resolve themselves." But they wouldn't resolve themselves, because they weren't problems. They were features I had specifically designed. Looking back, I think that phone call was the moment Marcus realized he was losing control. Thursday brought complete system collapse. Every AI algorithm failed simultaneously during the final investor presentation. Databases corrupted themselves in real time. Security systems locked out their own administrators. Processing servers crashed and refused to restart. Marcus stood in front of 200 potential investors watching his life's work disintegrate. 8 years of development, hundreds of millions in funding. His entire reputation built on technological innovation, gone in 72 hours. The tech press called it the worst IPO disaster in Silicon Valley history. Stock futures became worthless. Investors withdrew all commitments. The $800 million valuation became zero overnight. But the real destruction was just beginning. Marcus's board held an emergency meeting Friday morning. Leaked minutes showed directors discussing leadership changes, potential bankruptcy procedures, criminal liability investigations. His fiancée left that afternoon, moved out of their shared penthouse while he was in crisis meetings, took the engagement ring and left a note about not signing up for financial ruin. Personal relationships dissolved as quickly as business partnerships. Fair-weather friends disappeared when the money vanished. Social invitations stopped arriving. I didn't know it then, but Alex was documenting every detail of Marcus's fall. By Sunday, Marcus had lost everything. His company, his fortune, his reputation, his personal relationships, his future in the tech industry. 18 months of methodical sabotage had compressed into 4 days of total destruction. The golden boy who had called my son damaged goods was now damaged himself, broken beyond repair. Looking back, I realized the beautiful symmetry of that reversal. Marcus thought he was managing a liability when he betrayed Alex. He had no idea he was creating the architects of his own destruction. The boy he tried to discard had systematically dismantled everything Marcus valued, and we were just getting started. The annual Chen family gathering arrived exactly 1 year after Marcus's confession about Alex. February 14th. Valentine's Day, the same date Marcus had chosen for his destroyed IPO. I had been planning this moment for 12 months. Marcus appeared at our parents' house looking like a ghost of his former self. Rumpled clothes instead of designer suits. Beaten down Honda instead of his Tesla. The bankruptcy proceedings had taken everything, including his pride. He looked at me with something approaching desperation, perhaps hoping the overlooked brother might offer financial assistance in his time of need. Looking back, I realize he still had no idea who had orchestrated his downfall. "David," he said quietly, "I was hoping we could talk privately about possible opportunities. I know you work in data analysis and I have some ideas that might interest you." The irony was perfect. Marcus wanted my help rebuilding what I had spent 18 months destroying. Family members gathered in the living room for dinner. Aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents. The same people who had made subtle comments about Alex's condition over the years. Who had treated my son like a genetic defect that needed hiding. I stood to make a toast. Traditional Chen family protocol. The eldest son speaks first. "I want to thank everyone for their continued support of Alex," I began. "It's been a challenging year, but our family has shown its true character." Marcus smiled weakly, probably expecting praise for his past contributions to family unity. Instead, I pulled out my phone and connected it to the living room speakers. "Before we eat, I think everyone should hear something important about family values," I said. I played the recording. Marcus's voice filled the silent room, his phone call from the engagement party 2 years ago. Every word crystal clear. "I need to be direct about my nephew. The kid's got issues, autism, behavioral problems. I can't have him representing our family name at MIT. Some bloodlines need quality control. Alex is damaged goods." The silence that followed was absolute. 23 family members staring at Marcus with expressions of horror and disgust. His face went white, then red, then white again. I didn't know it then, but this was only the beginning of his public humiliation. "I can explain," Marcus stammered. That was taken out of context. I was trying to protect Alex from an environment that might not understand his needs. "Were you protecting Alex when you told MIT he had behavioral problems?" I asked. "When you called him damaged goods? When you said our bloodline needed quality control?" Marcus looked around the room for support. Found none. Our parents stared at him like he was a stranger. Cousins whispered among themselves. His own family saw him clearly for the first time. Then I revealed my own transformation. "I have an announcement," I said. "I've been hired as Chief Technology Officer at Meridian Systems. Starting salary is $400,000 per year, plus equity that should be worth several million when they go public next year." The room erupted in congratulations, questions about my new position, excitement about my career advancement. Marcus stared at me in confusion, his mind trying to process how his overlooked brother had achieved such success. Looking back, I think that was the moment he realized something was wrong. "I thought you worked at a mid-tier analytics firm," Marcus said. "I did, until I decided to pursue more challenging opportunities. Turns out my skills were more valuable than anyone realized, including the skills I had developed while systematically destroying his company, but I didn't mention that part." Alex had been quiet throughout dinner, listening to conversations, observing reactions, calculating his own timing. My son understood dramatic presentation better than I did. He stood up slowly. Every eye in the room turned toward him. "I have an announcement, too," Alex said in his clear, precise voice. "I've been accepted to MIT for fall semester, full scholarship, early admission to their computer science doctoral program." The room exploded again. More congratulations, questions about his research plans, pride in his academic achievement. But Alex wasn't finished. He looked directly at Marcus. "Uncle Marcus, I want you to know something. When you said our bloodline needed quality control, You were absolutely right. You just identified the wrong defective component. Marcus's face crumpled. The full weight of his situation became clear. He hadn't just lost to me. He had lost to the child he had tried to discard. I didn't know it then, but Alex had one final revelation that would change everything. I should probably mention, Alex continued, that I've been working on some personal cybersecurity projects over the past 18 months. Research into corporate network vulnerabilities, system infiltration techniques, digital forensics methodologies. My blood went cold. I realized what Alex was saying without saying it. Interesting research, I managed to say. Very interesting. I discovered that many companies have serious security flaws. Some are so vulnerable that a skilled individual could cause significant damage without leaving traces. Hypothetically speaking, of course. Marcus was staring at Alex with growing horror. His analytical mind was connecting dots, seeing patterns, understanding implications. You, Marcus whispered. Us, Alex corrected, looking at me. Dad taught me that family protects family, that people who hurt the ones we love face consequences. I just wanted to make sure those lessons were thoroughly understood. Looking back, I realized that moment was my final calculation error. I thought I was protecting Alex from the world's cruelty, teaching him to defend himself against people who would dismiss his worth. Instead, I had created something far more dangerous than Marcus ever was. My son hadn't just learned my methods, he had perfected them, exceeded them, become more systematically ruthless than I ever imagined possible. The boy Marcus called damaged goods had grown into someone capable of damages Marcus couldn't comprehend. Alex smiled at his ruined uncle, not with hatred or anger, with the cold satisfaction of a problem permanently solved. The algorithm of revenge had executed flawlessly. Marcus was right about quality control. We had just eliminated the wrong variable.